Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Evan James. Today we're going to be going over a couple topics involving dating. Ladies, I would like for you to close your eyes for a minute. Picture your man, or what you would consider to be the perfect looking man to you. Now, picture yourselves at the grocery store. You grab a shopping cart, he grabs the shopping cart. You both go your own ways, and you get whatever you would consider to be able to make the perfect meal on a plate describing you. Whether it's Tex-Mex, whether it's Italian, whether it's surf and turf, whatever it is, that would be you. You get all that, and he goes and he gets whatever would represent him. His favorite meal, whatever would be the best thing to represent him on a plate. Once you two get done getting your stuff, you two come together. You go and you pick out dessert together. Then you go, you check out, you head home. You lay everything out, all the groceries. Now you pick between what would make your perfect plate, what would make his perfect plate. You bring those two things together and you make the perfect meal together. Okay? So you're taking your style and his style and making one meal. Now, later that night, you go together into the kitchen, both of you, and you make this meal together. Now there's a reason that you would be bringing these two separate meals together and working together to create a meal. I'll get to that in a moment. Once the meal is almost prepared and everything's just about ready, pretty much all that's left is just plating, set the table, pour the drinks, eat. Well, you go off, you get changed real quick for dinner. He changes his shirt because, let's face it fellas, realistically, all that we'd have to do to finish pretty much getting ready for a dinner date, if we're cooking, is just change our shirt. That simple. So he changes his shirt, puts on a tie or jacket or whatever, sets the table. By the time you get down, table's set, food's ready, candles are lit, lights are down low, and he's pouring drinks. You two have dinner together. After you're done eating, you two clean up, pack dessert to go, hop in the vehicle and go for a drive. Late evening, clear weather, okay? You go out to the middle of some field area, lay out a blanket, have dessert under the night sky. After you're done eating, you two lay down in each other's arms, just getting lost in each other's eyes, under the stars and the moonlit sky. Now to me, that's what I would consider the perfect dinner date. Reason being is because in life, when you come together in a relationship, you and he are not going to be 100% the same. You're going to have differences. Now, just like those two plates, they're not going to be exactly the same. One could be Italian and one could be Tex-Mex. Now that's two different types of meals, right? But you can bring them together and make a meal out of them. You can make something amazing out of it. Just like a man and a woman coming together and creating a child. See the analogy there? That is why, to me, that is what I consider the perfect date. Because you are now seeing if you can create something together, if you can work together, and not just be at each other's throats the entire time that you're in the kitchen. And if you can make it through being in the kitchen and cooking this meal together, and yeah, there's going to be running into little bumps here and there in the kitchen while making this meal, especially if it's two totally different types of meals. being brought together. But if you can do that, you're more likely to be able to work together in other aspects. Now, is that going to be able to be applied to every aspect in a relationship? No. But you got to admit that's a great analogy to work with. And if you can make it through just a little bit of toughness on creating a delicious meal, you think you wouldn't be able to work out some of the other things a little easier? It's worth trying. I mean, what do you have to lose? You accidentally burn dinner? I mean, at that, you could still go out to eat. Now, with getting lost in each other's arms out in the field, I'm not saying you get it on. I'm saying literally lay there in each other's arms in an intimate moment, not a freaky deaky moment, an intimate moment. There's a difference. And one of the things with relationships that should be looked at is stepping it up. You shouldn't ever just jump into that deep end for doing the dirty deeds that are done dirt cheap. You should work it in steps. For example, after you've gone on a couple dates and all the going to movies and stuff, hanging out, spending time together, next step is, you watch a movie or something at either his house or he's at yours. Then what do? It's late. Okay, either you crash at his place or he crashes at yours. If he's crashing at yours, he's on the couch. No ands, if, buts, or ors about it. He's on the couch. Okay. If you're at his house, if he's a real man and gentleman, a traditional man, he's going to put his foot down real quick and say, oh no, you're not sleeping on the couch. You got my bed. You'll be in my bed. I'll be on the couch. He's not going to make you run risk of throwing your back out on the couch. No, ma'am. But after a couple times of sleeping on the couch, at least 1 or 2 times minimum, barest of bare minimums, 1 or 2 times. This is building a foundation, a good solid foundation on the relationship. If you want a real relationship, you're gonna want a good foundation for your relationship to be built on, and not sex. Point blank, you don't want to build it on that. So next step is make it through one night together. Even if you skip the couch phase, make it through one night together. Sleep together. Now, when I say sleep together, I mean literally sleep together. When you sleep, you restore energy. When you have sex, you expel energy and other bodily fluids, but that's irrelevant. Point being is, if you can make it through one night and show that restraint, you are showing each other that, hey, I don't look at you as nothing but a sex object. I look at you as way more than just a piece of meat. Which will be building a solid foundation for the relationship. The more and the longer you can go while doing that, the more sturdier the relationship will be built upon. Now, don't take that as me saying, oh, you have to be abstinent all the way up until you're married. No, I am not saying that at all. And ladies, trust me, this is going to come down a lot more towards your willpower than his. Believe me on that one. I've done this method And unless she has a good, strong will, it's not easy for a guy at all to follow those steps. Which is why I'm primarily speaking to you ladies. Because, let's face it, I don't care how good a man is, how traditional he is. I've been considered to be, out of my friends that I've hung out with in groups, usually when the ladies know I'm going with them to hang out at a bar or something, and I'm the DD, which happens every time. There's only been one occasion where I wasn't the DD, and that will never happen again. Fact of the matter is, every single time that they know I'm going, or I'm going to be hanging out with them, oh, okay, we know you will behave. Because they got me there to keep them in line. Apparently I'm the big brother or the father of the group. Gets annoying after a while. But the fact is, even though I'm a traditional good man, I'm a bad puppy. And this puppy likes to play. So, I'm going to tell you right now, ladies, I don't care how good he is, how loyal he is, how much he values commitment. If he is with you, if you are his woman and he is your man, I'll tell you right now, you're gonna have to be willing to tell him no. Because you as well have to show, hey, this is what I want, a good solid foundation to build our relationship on. And once you tell him no, he genuinely wants to have a solid foundation. He might be a little frisky, might make out with you a little bit or something, but he will respect, hey, we're building an actual relationship here. It's not easy. I will say that. My best relationship was a year and a half, and she actually wanted to wait until after we had gotten married before doing anything. And it was my best relationship. For all you SOBs watching this, who I already know you're trying to run your mouth saying, oh, well, if it was so great, why aren't you still with her? It's kind of hard to be in a relationship with someone who's no longer amongst the living. Moving on. One thing I will recommend, ladies and gentlemen, do not date anybody you directly work with. If you're in the same department, you're in the same setup together working, you are going to make it a nightmare on your relationship. Now, I'm not saying that you can't start dating somebody you work with, even if it's same department, you work same schedule, right there with each other. Transfer. One of you should transfer, or just find a totally different job. And I don't mean transfer to a whole another state or location. I mean transfer to a different spot in the store to where you're not going to be up under each other's feet all the time. It is good to miss each other. Now, how can it be good to miss each other in a relationship, right? Ladies, what's one thing that you all love to say when you date somebody and then you want to turn around and break up with them real quick? Oh, he's clingy. Okay. Wouldn't that mean it'd be good to miss each other? You need time apart. If you don't have some time apart, trying to think of how to word this. You don't want to be away from each other all the time. Having a weekend with the boys, for the men watching this, you have a weekend or Friday night, something designated, hey, this is my guys' night. No, no ladies, no women allowed. Now that doesn't mean that ladies, that doesn't mean they're going and fooling around. Men, if you all try and do some dumb shit, say, oh, well, he said, and use me as an excuse, I will come and put my Marine Corps boot so far up your rear end that every time I lace it up, you'll be tongue-tied. It's not what I'm saying to do. I'm saying go hang out, play cards. Go, I would say go to the shooting range, but ammo's expensive. I'm well aware of this. If you can afford to go to the shooting range, go to the shooting range. But do something manly. You know, go do some man stuff. Hang out with your bros. Even if it's just going and exercising and you spend, hey, Saturdays is your exercise days. You and your boys exercise weekend. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, going back to the ladies here, go spend the day with your lady friends. Not saying go to the clubs and go to the bars now and have guys pushing all up on you. Just like the men, don't use this as an excuse to go and do dumb stuff. Don't do that. Go spend actual day with your girlfriends, go to the mall, whatever. I'm not saying go and max out your all's credit cards. Go and spend a little time with your female friends. While he's spending some time with his guy buddies, you go spend some time with your female buddies. Now, on the point of ammo being expensive, ladies, don't get mad at your boyfriend because he plays video games and stuff. In today's modern society, it is so hard for a man to get to be a man. Because, oh, guns are bad, this, that, and another. If a man can't go to the shooting range because he's going to be having somebody run their mouth about how guns are so bad, which takes away from that male masculinity of his, which you want a man, right, ladies? Unless you're a lesbian, in that case, to each their own. Point being to this is, if you're taken away from his male masculinity, he's got to find another outlet. So going and playing video games is one way. As I said, ammunition's expensive. Which would you rather him do, ladies? Buy a video game that costs 50 to 60 bucks. If he gets the more expensive version, it's like, what, 80 bucks? Maybe once a month or so, you spend 20 bucks on some extra perks, extra skins, weapons, whatever. Okay, that's what, 20 bucks a month? If that. Heck, you could make one purchase of $80 and it lasts you about a year or better. Or would you rather him spend about $1,000 on a firearm? Because if you're going to get a good one, let's face it, fellas, you're going to get a good one, right? Then you're going to want to get some other attachments for it and stuff, and then you're going to want to turn around and take it to the shooting range, and it's what? Not counting the range time and the fact that you're probably going to want to buy Ear Pro and some good Eye Pro and all that stuff. Then you got to spend anywhere from barest of bare minimums, like $100 on ammo, and that's like, oh, we go and we spend 15 minutes, if that, at the shooting range. Oh, ladies, you realize only 15 minutes for $100 worth of ammo? Oh, gets expensive real quick. So if you're going to spend a good hour or so, you're going to spend at minimum, if you have more than one firearm, you're spending at least $50,000 to $1,000 at barest of bare minimums just for yourself, not counting the range time. So if he's spending a couple hours playing Halo, I'd say Call of Duty, but since they pulled the Nick Schultz thing, I'm boycotting them. They can go I can't say what I think of them right now on YouTube. I'll get banned in a heartbeat. But they want to put your boyfriend, husband, whatever wants to go and play Halo. Don't get mad at him. He can't afford to do guy stuff anymore. It's too expensive. Unless he's making about $1 million to afford to be your provider and take care of all his stuff and to be able to go actually do guy stuff. Go to the shooting range all the time. Go work on a car to make it a rally racer and go trick it out to go hang out with the boys and do drift stuff. And it gets expensive real quick, ladies. And I mean real quick. Especially if you don't know how to do this stuff. If you don't know what you're doing for working on a car and you have to pay somebody to do that, it gets way more expensive. So don't get too mad at him for doing that. Now, I'll get more into ways that you can manage to get him a little bit more less likely to want to play video games. We'll get into that in a moment. One of the things, though, is in dating that I consistently see is a double standard for men and women. Now, I know everybody out there is getting ready to get triggered and get all upset, but give me a moment, all right? You'll understand. Ladies, let me ask you. You want your man to value you. You want him to truly appreciate and want you, right? Why are you walking around with your for sale sign up? Daisy Dukes? That's hoeing out. That's the original country girl's way of hoeing out. Let me put it this way, ladies. If you had a 10, 11, 12-year-old little girl, she was wearing Daisy Dukes. Now, Daisy Dukes, they're going to be one of two ways. They're going to be a little bit looser, which means if your little girl's sitting there in the waiting area, you and your family's out for dinner, sitting there waiting, and some pedo little perv is sitting across from y'all, and your daughter moves her leg the wrong way, he gets to see what color panties she's wearing. You wouldn't want her doing that. So why should your man want for you to be showing Blow Joe from down the lane what color underwear you're wearing? Why should he be okay with that? You wouldn't want him running around in his boxers showing off his bulge and stuff to all the ladies. It's not like you have a bulge, ladies. I mean, what you got going down there ain't bulge. So showing it off to any capacity is a lot more extreme then. Why? Because down there is less to show for you. But when it comes down to up top, that's showing that off is just the same. In a guy's eyes, it's just the same. Why? Because that's more of a private thing. You wouldn't want your 11, 12-year-old little girl doing that. Why have that double standard between your daughter and you? Oh, well, she's a child and you're an adult. It's still sexualizing. If it's sexualizing the little girl, how is it not sexualizing you? Whether you're a child or an adult, it's still sexualizing. So if you're sitting there wearing these low V-cuts, or you're wearing stuff that's cut way down and your hooters are popping out your top pretty much, it's barely covering over that areola. And for everybody out there who has no clue what the heck an areola is, it's the area around the nipple. It's that dark area. Why do I feel like I'm in science class right now, having to explain everything to everybody? Or health class, my bad. Here's the thing. If you're wearing clothes and stuff like that, what's that say? You can't sit there and say, oh, well, I'm doing that for my man. Because if you're going to do something for your man, you're not going to do it out there for everybody else. That's like saying, oh, I wear lingerie for my man. Well, are you going to wear it for your man in the bedroom? Or are you going to put that on and walk around out in public? One is actually doing it for your man, and the other is doing it for everybody else. Now you see, your man, ladies, is not going to say this stuff to you. He's not going to tell you that, hey, that when you're wearing stuff like that, when you're wearing clothes where guy across the way can see what color panties you're wearing, whether you're a thong girl, whether you're a panty girl, whether you like lace or not, your man can't tell you, hey, don't do that. Please don't do that. Why? Because automatically he gets labeled as a misogynist. He gets labeled as a sexist. So he can't say anything. He just has to take it. He has to feel degraded, destroyed. Every time you do that. Unless he's just some limp-wristed little boy. Not a real man. Some little cockle. The thing is, ladies, you want your man to value you. You have to show that appreciation to him that, hey, I am yours, not everybody else's. You want him to wifey you up? Show him you deserve it. Not just because, oh, I don't do OnlyFans, so I'm some traditional woman because I don't do that. No. When you're sitting there running around with your for sale sign up, hoeing out, slutting out, acting like a little tramp, because that's what that is. And a guy cannot tell his girlfriend any of this, otherwise you'll leave him. Everybody, when a relationship ends, what's the first thing that everybody generally does? Oh, what did he do wrong? Instinctively, everybody always points at the man as being the one that's wrong. Even if he did nothing wrong. Always immediately his fault. So if he says anything to you about what he doesn't like, now what? You get all upset and you leave for whatever reason. Oh, well then he was controlling and he was a blankety blank piece of... A guy can't say or have any standards anymore. It's pathetic that a guy cannot have standards without being labeled a misogynist. And I know, just by me making this video and giving you all the answers as to how to get a traditional man to want to wifey you up, by blatantly telling you, hey, quit acting like this modernized, non-traditional piece of crap. Cover yourself up. You want a traditional man. You want a conservative man. Act like one. Act like a conservative, traditional woman. And you'll get you one. There will be no question about it. All those photos you have of you wearing extremely tight short... By the way, the only other option for Daisy Dukes that I've ever seen, other than slightly looser, is extremely tight, where every crease of you is being shown off. Your rear and your camel toe. Which, hey, that's blatantly sexualizing. So hey, no matter which way you cut that, Daisy Dukes are designed as the country girl's way of slutting up, hoeing out. Those really short skirts you all love to wear around, hoeing out, slutting up to get that attention. Same thing. If you have photos like that, ladies, take them down. If that's on your social media and stuff, take them down. Not just, oh, I'm going to make it to where only I can see. No, take them down. Delete them. I guarantee you, you start getting rid of that stuff, you start showing that you are a traditional conservative woman, you will get you a traditional conservative man. I'm giving you the answers. I'm 29 years old. I know at this point, I'm not going to get to find me a traditional woman. Because all of them that are out there, one, aren't really traditional. They just want to sit there and say they are and act like entitled SOBs. Or they're just waving, you're blatantly waving around the false flag of what you are. And guys can see that. Why do you think the only men that are still truly interested in you are the ones who are going to try and sexualize you and just make you into a sex object? I'm giving you the answers, ladies. Now, men, we can't hold the ladies to a standard and not hold ourselves to a standard. So, yes, for a man, it is much, much harder to attract a woman. Ladies, let's face facts. You could walk down a couple city blocks and pick up half a dozen guys. Okay, if you can walk down a couple city blocks and pick up half a dozen guys with ease, whether you're super hot or not, and a man has to walk a couple miles to maybe find one woman that would be willing to do anything with him. Unless he's got a whole lot of money, the nice car, he's well built, stacked, yoked, ripped, whatever you want to call it. Has a lot of social media presence and all of that. It's hard on a man, especially if he's traditional and conservative. It's hard. Now, for a guy, it's a little bit more, in my opinion, acceptable for him to show off his muscles and stuff, not have his shirt on, because of the fact that it is so much harder for a man to attract a female. It is so much harder. And we don't really have a lot of ways to compete other than by peacocking. It's a shame that it's come to that, but in this non-traditional, modern, Western world that we live in, which is mostly due to modern feminism. Let's face facts, ladies. Once the modern feminism started taking over things and how everything is going, hookup culture started becoming a thing. Now traditional man has to start giving up his traditionalism and go and be a man-ho, a fuckboy. It's almost as if, though, wearing your shirt and going to a gym or anything like that, automatically you're one, oh, you've got problems with your body. You're not confident. No, that's not it. But you're automatically going to get labeled that way. And if you take your shirt off in front of a female, oh, well then you're automatically a sexist. So you have to catch it at just this teeny tiny right window. Otherwise you have to be like super well built and stacked. And you can't pay any attention to a female at all if you're at a gym. I've hit the point of I don't want to go to a gym because it's too much of a hassle. This modern femininity that's taken over. It's made going to a gym completely a headache. And I'm not just going to run around with my shirt off all the time. But at the same time, it would be more acceptable than for a woman to run around in just her sports bra. Why? Because how else is a guy supposed to pick up a chick in this modern, non-traditional world? So we do, though, have to have limitations, though. Not running around with my shirt off all the time and having ladies feel on my abs every single chance I get. Yes, every once in a while is one thing, but at the same time, only females that I'd be truly interested in. If I had no interest in dating them, other than just being some fuckboy, which is a non-traditional man, no. Always having them feel up on you is non-traditional. It's like a hoe going and twerking on guys at a bar all the time. No, it's non-traditional. So we have to have certain limitations in place, and it's hard for a man to have limitations set. Because, ladies, you've made it next to impossible for a guy to get to flirt with a female anymore. A guy almost can't flirt with a female without being labeled as a misogynist, or a sexist, or a predator. If we're trying to be nice and we hold open to any female around my age or younger, I don't like holding doors open for them. Now, if they're older or it's another dude, oh yeah, I'm most likely to hold the door open for them. Well, I'm at a gas station or something, I'm getting ready to go in, and I see somebody coming up behind me, I'm most likely to hold the door open. They're my age or younger, most likely not happening. Why? Because I don't want to have to put up with the BS of being called, oh, you're some sexist, you think I can't open my own door? I'm just trying to be a traditional gentleman. I'll hold it open for another man. I'm trying to show that I care about humanity and I know how to be polite. And you ladies want to sit there and try and make everything into a sexual competition, between a battle between the sexes. Sometimes guys just want to be nice to a female because they actually want to show that, hey, we're not some worthless individual that says we should just say fuck everybody else, be self-centered 24/7. There's guys out there that actually know how to care, and it's so hard to get to be genuinely traditional conservative man in this world. But ladies, same thing for the men. If he values you, he'll take those photos down. You start dating, all those photos of him sitting there flexing on social media, they'll all come down. Why? Because when you're in a relationship, you start dating somebody, you shouldn't have that back door open to try and date somebody else. You shouldn't care about your fan base on social media more than you care about your relationship with whom you're dating. If you care more about your fan base than you do your boyfriend or your girlfriend, then that says your relationship with your fans is the most important thing to you. And that's something you have to be very careful with, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care whether you're a female or a male. You want to be in a real relationship. Best advice for you: get as far away from social media as you can. Point blank. I'm not saying you have to completely shut it all off, get rid of all of it. Several things. Twitter would be the first thing I'd say kick to the curb, because it's a place of nothing but pure toxicity. Facebook and Snapchat would be the next two locations. And lastly, I'd say Instagram. Instagram, because, well, would be last because it's just mostly just post a photo. Hey, it's not as much of a toxicity site, if you will. Before I go, there is something that I'm going to say that's not going to be easy for any of you to do. You're in a relationship. Ask your significant other what they want to see. And what I mean by that is, if you've been dating 6 months, ladies, if you really want to be in a relationship with him, because he, as I said, a man can't say anything to you without being labeled wrong. Go to him. He's doing something. Catch him at a time where he's just playing video games or something, or just chilling. Go sit down with him and say, hey, baby, I need to talk to you. He's going to look at kind of funny and go, okay, well, I'm in the middle of something. Okay, I'll wait. Keep your body facing him. Don't sit there and play around on your phone if he's playing video games or something. Keep your body facing him. Kind of side glance at what he's doing. And as soon as he hits that breaking point, go, okay, can you talk yet? I need to talk to you about a couple things. First of all, this, just so you're well aware, ladies, the first reaction he's going to have is, oh shit, is she pregnant? Did she cheat on me? What's going on here? He's going to immediately go into this red alert moment. He's going to sit down the controller or whatever he's doing. He's going to be like, okay, babe, what's going on? At this point, I need you to look at him and be like, okay, babe, I enjoy our time together. I want to continue being in a relationship with you. Now, the goal of being in a relationship and dating is to maybe one day look at possibly getting married. I'm not saying we have to get married right now, but I would like to know what you would like to see change in me to make me better and more acceptable to be one day your wife. And likewise, there is, and obviously, that everything he does is not going to be perfect, ladies. Every man out there knows that there's going to be a couple things at least you're going to want to see change in him. So at that moment, you would then take the time to say, there is one thing I would like to ask you change as well, but I would like to know what you want to hear or would like to see me change. Now, my advice, ladies, already have written down. Write down before you go to him, write down what you want to see change. This way, if what he says does kind of rub you the wrong way, you won't immediately go, well, you know what, fine. I don't want to just see this change. I want this, and all. And you go way overboard on the extreme. Now, if he's just being a blank piece of blankety blank trash, that's one thing. But if he actually values you and he wants to see one or two little things change, odds are they're not going to be extreme, especially if you're both taking down, you know, your back door, your way out. Those photos where, hey, I'll still have all these other possibilities and prospects, you have all those taken down. Now, if you want a traditional conservative guy, ladies, you're probably going to have to go on and get rid of that crap. I'm just saying. But the odds are he'll tell you whatever he wants to see change, and he will be nervous and terrified to say it, because he doesn't want you to immediately jump to conclusions that he's just trying to control you. Now, if you have written down what you want to see change, after he gets done telling you, take a breath and be like, okay, take a couple deep breaths if you need. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and go, okay, well, likewise, this is what, as a possibility of you one day being my husband, I would like to see if there is any way that you might be willing to work on. And now, use the words work on. Not just say change. Because that's going to possibly rub him the wrong way. So say work on. He'll be more likely and more inclined to want to make whatever you would like change actually change. And start to show more towards the lines of appreciation. I guarantee you do that, you're going to be way more likely to get him to want to wifey you up without having to change anything. What do I mean by that? Okay, he's playing video games. He's had a long day with work, whatever. He's come home. He's just leaning forward playing video games, trying to unwind. Don't just sit down and get on your phones. Show him that, hey, he is your value, your muse. Slide in behind him. Wrap your legs around him and then start scratching on his back. Massaging his shoulders. Unless he just completely hates being touched, do that. Watch what happens. Watch how quickly the stress will start to melt. Okay, if he has a regular schedule job, regular time frame, turn around and surprise him. If you're not somebody who usually has dinner ready around the time that he would get home, surprise him. Have a meal that he would really enjoy. Cook it. Well, I don't know how to cook. Well, if the Daily Wire and I end up working together, don't worry. We'll teach you. One of the things that I want to do with them is actually teach people and not just run mouths. Actually lead by example. So maybe we'll get to teach you a few things. And hey, if not, and they don't want to work with me, well fine, I'll figure out a way to teach y'all myself. I don't have a lot of money to spend on a bunch of random cooking things food-wise, but you know what? I'll do my best because somebody needs to start leading by example. So, try and make some sort of meal. Showing him that you are trying and that you are trying to put him as your primary and your muse will speak so much more than you realize to him. Because so many females in today's modern, non-traditional world don't genuinely care to try and show a man that he is his woman's muse. All these ladies out here pretty much are just self-centered, me all the time. Imagine how much of an effect that little act will have on him. And before you go and start saying, well, we've been dating for years and he just won't propose. Have you been genuinely showing him that he is your muse? That he is what you care about? He is what you want? Try everything I've just gone over. Watch the difference and how he is affected. I can almost guarantee you will see a major change in the way that he values you. And the odds are, he's going to be so much more likely to want to marry you. What's the worst you got to lose? You end up still dating a little longer, or you end up killing this relationship that's going nowhere? What have you got to lose? Why not try it? My name's Evan James. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Comment below, tell me whether you agree or disagree. If you think I'm just an ignorant fool talking out my rear, say it. I want to hear the different sides. I want to hear the different opinions. Because if we don't talk, we don't communicate, we can't grow. Just like a relationship. We have to communicate. Y'all take it easy.